Your agentic go-to-market future will fail if you don't do exactly what I say. And I have built hundreds of GTM agentic systems. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through in this video everything that you and your organization need to do to prepare for the coming AI go-to-market apocalypse. And it's actually a really simple thing. It's not hard to do, but it's eating your vegetables. This is going to be obnoxious for you to do, but it is the single thing that will make sure that everything you build is extremely valuable. Before we get into that, I'm going to talk to you about the way you should think about a go-to-market engineer. And it's much different than you think about lead generation agencies or RevOps. It will sort of surprise you. The job of a go-to-market engineer is not to invent plays. It is not to personalize emails. It is not to connect up systems. It is not to be able to invent unique data. It's actually not even to get to go-to-market alpha, which is a great concept by Clay. The real job of a go-to-market engineer, of a great go-to-market engineer, is to force you to look at just won closed deals where you have perfect information. Their first job is to capture all of those transcripts, is to sit down with that AE, that SDR, and probably some of your senior leadership, maybe even your CEO, and to do exactly what I'm about to do. And the reason this is valuable is that, and I should say, the piece that we're about to explore here is using ChatGPT to take the transcript and identify what the customer said matched with your intuition, matched with public data signals. That is what you're going to do, and you're going to do it account by account by account by account. You're going to spend 10 to 15 minutes. And the value of this, especially for folks that haven't built an outbound engine before and most of their deals are inbound, is that you're going to understand where are the aha moments from actual people that have transacted actual money. I got on the phone with one of these really fast-growing startups, right? One of the top 5 in the world. You certainly know of them. They have a bunch of customers. And the guy says to me, he's like, Jordan, just send me your best ideas, and then I'll compare you against everyone else. And what I said to him is like, there's 5 organizations in the world that are in your situation. You exist in a money vault, and the money is blowing everywhere, and you need to capture that money. I have no idea. I've never done that before, so I can't tell you what to do. And the problem is that a lot of, even my stuff, I always joke that I'm the best bullshitter aside from ChatGPT. Even my stuff, I said, a customer that bought me recently, they're like, this is amazing. Can you do this? I'm like, I've got no idea. I have to look into the feasibility of it. But this is the type of thing that I do. The play cannot exist outside of actual buying conditions in the market. And the way in which I describe this to my customers is there is a continuum. On this continuum, you are playing roulette. And you have decided to put all of your money on 26. Now, if it hits, of course, it'll be amazing. You'll walk out of that casino and you're like, this is the greatest. So that's on one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum, what you're doing is you are just taking what works manually and scaling it. And that means the only thing that you have to evaluate is, did you do your research? Do you know why people actually bought? And do you know the actual data that was tightly linked to that situation? If you do, and you can do this by looking at your closed won deals, we're going to walk through this exercise today. That means that the go-to-market engineer's job is very simple. It is to go build the system to do this research at scale. And it is not to invent anything. And you do this for 10, 20, 30 customers, and you're like, now we found it. It's this corner of the internet. It's this piece. It's this blog post. It's this SEC report. It's these things combined together. And the go-to-market engineer is supposed to operationalize that. But the thing is, you don't know. And ChatGPT actually can do a great job at investigating this. I'm going to show you how to use that. That's what the best go-to-market engineers are doing. They are saying, it is not my responsibility to know why people close. It is my responsibility to help guide you in that research, to make sure that you eat your vegetables, for you to find those signals. And then the go-to-market engineer's job is simple. I'm just going to turn that into a system. And that's why we're not lead generation agencies. And that's why you probably don't want to be paying for amazingly cool plays. This is why every lead generation company fails. It's why they churn. Because even if you hit 36, you're only as good as that number that you hit today. But it's different. It's much different if you can create a process to interview your customers, to interrogate the data, and then to ingest that data in your system. I got the 3 I's. All right. So let's look at what that process looks like. This is a guide for my current customers as well as a guide for you. If you are selling go-to-market engineering services, I suggest that you send this to your customers and teach them. And I also suggest that you don't sell roulette rolls because they're highly gambly. And customers love playing roulette. They love it. They're like, I had a customer today, it's like, what do I want? More whales, baby. I'm like, how many whales do you have? He's like, 2 whales. And then I said to him, I was like, all right, well, you go do research and you tell me why you got those 2 whales. Tell me the story. And he kind of rolled his eyes and like, someone else in the room can do this. This is not exactly how it went, but this is the good story. And it's like, look, I can take your stories, but I need your stories. I need the nuances. You've spent so much time in your business. All right, no more talk. Let's get to it. All right, we're going to go pick a, can you pick a random B2B vertical SaaS company with a lot of case studies? Just like go find one on the web. This is Super Whisper. I don't know, everyone should know that by now if you watch any of my stuff. But I'm just going to start backwards and we're going to generate the assets. So this is going to assume that you have these assets, but all right. Great. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pick one of these companies that has the most case studies and then go find all of their case studies and go give me the case study that has the most in-depth detail. Wow, network connection lost. Reach out, touch me, your own personal Jesus. Someone to tear your plans. Someone who cares. All right. Whoa, not what I wanted. All right, great. Okay, great. Great, we got one company. So we're just going to actually go see if we can find a case study. And while it does that, all right, what I want you to do is I want you to generate a fictional, amazingly in-depth transcript as if this was a sales call, a first sales call between this company and the case study company and Clio. And just, you can make up a bunch of details, but make sure they're very specific details that could happen that the prospect is sharing the situation that they are in that led them to seek Clio. And make sure the rep is like super well versed in like great qualification, and so create that transcript for me, this fictional transcript with as much detail as possible. So what you're going to do is basically this is an example of a client that you have, and sort of once you have the transcript, this is the place that you begin. So go do deep research on the company. You got the transcript. That's where you begin. That's sort of where this analysis begins. Okay, great. They have like the buying committee, amazing. Case volume. Okay, budget. All right. Now what I want you to do is, given all of this kind of information in the transcript and the case study, what I want you to do is I want you to go identify what are public ways that I might have been able to determine that this company was in the situation where they needed Clio? Like, and go spend an ungodly amount of time researching different data. Like, look in niche data sources. Think about how you might combine data, right? Don't be generic. Don't look just at like job postings or company descriptions. Like, imagine you are the world's most qualified sales development rep that has a lust for OSINT techniques that is very, very clever. And so spend a lot of time and then go find with sites that have timestamps on them where you think the most compelling evidence or the most compelling multiple types of evidence exist, with links and sources so that I can review this. This single document should have everything I need to be able to evaluate the different possible buying data, buying signals. Now go do your duty to your school. I don't know why, but that is my favorite Harry Potter quote. When Professor McGonagall was like, she cast that spell, and she's like, I always wanted to cast that spell. Which is exactly what she sounded like. All right, so I don't know why you watch this. You could stop at any time. All right, so what we're doing now is we're actually going and getting ground truth information. And what the AE would be doing in this case is just narrating. So, yeah, they bought us for this reason. When we had the conversation, blah, blah, blah happened. You know, I got the sense that Sally, who was the blah, 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 wasn't really on board. But then Jessica, who was the blah, 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 really needed it because she said blah. So have the AE or the CEO, whoever knows the most about this deal, just talk. And even while this is running, because you want to know what's in their head. You also want to know what they tried to look for but didn't find. All right, I'm going to the About page now. Ooh, I noticed that they don't have any administrative assistants. Okay, if they had 5, I know that that's a good fit because they're doing blah, blah, blah. So, and no one's done this, by the way, because you couldn't operationalize it before. You couldn't say, well, Zoom Info doesn't have that, so I guess we best not bother. And leadership doesn't know it either because they're not that close to the customer. They don't have to prospect. So what happens is they say to these SDRs and AEs, we don't know what you should do, but you should do it fast and well, otherwise you're fired. It's like, well, what does good look like? I don't know. So executives and these like frontline people that are actually doing the work, they have to sit down together. Now the executives are going to see something. Well, I know that we had this other deal in 2019 before you were here that like this was the case. Is that true there? Yeah, it was. Okay, great. Amazing. All right, great. Now we got a signal. Oh, new Rally office merger. Okay, great. Like, let's read about this. Okay, there's a merger happening. Amazing. Like, what are the information about that merger? Oh, why did they do it? Let's see. Looking ahead. We're looking forward to the. Okay, why did they do it? Let's see. Yeah, so you're going to see something here that I'll never see, right? Expand our reach. Okay, so client-centered. Okay, maybe there's nothing here. Maybe that's boring. Multiple office growth. So this is just like, hey, because there's 2 offices, they need a centralized calendaring. Interesting, right? Conflict checks, file sharing, right? So these are 2 organizations. So, okay, I guess CeeLo can help with that. 3rd SE office open. Okay. Early geographic sprawl. Okay. 7 new attorneys hired at once. LinkedIn post 10 months ago. LinkedIn corporate feed. Ooh, wow. Does this really work? Can it determine LinkedIn post 10 months ago? Wow. 7 incredible lawyers, right? Great growth signal. Current head count. Okay. Oh, questionable billing, right? Like lawyers.com. Who would have known, right? External pain, billing disputes, write-offs, poor transparency. Okay. Amazing, right? So you can kind of see how ChatGPT is actually really PDF in court record showing documentation history, public court filings leak their e-signature stack, real-world adoption and volume. Okay, so this is like this is funny, right? If you wanted to see if they would churn, you basically could go find the documentation trail. So you might look for competitors there, right? And so, great. Press releases, new offices, headcount delta, billing friction, tech stack breadcrumbs. This is like a Pacer document, right? 400 filings in 90 days. There's volume proof, outcome proof. Okay, well, other data sources like where okay, so this is actually, see, this is like why it's important. This is actually after they've adopted. How can I tell? Well, here's how I could tell. Compare last seen dates to cloud cutover, right? On-prem exchange, ports left open pre-2019. So now I can actually look at, look, what is this MAC address is? So like, oh, great. Like, let's go figure out what this thing is. Oh, I can look up vendor, like direct virtual machines. So now I can go see like what actual things that they used. Uh, like, look at how weird this is. Uh, Indeed snapshot, job ads, Google reviews, like local bar association newsletters. So you can kind of see how what this process looks like is this is truly letting ChatGPT kind of take the reins and guide you, but you're going to need to say, well, actually it's not office open locations. Well, this is like an old thing. Well, it is growth, but actually the fact that their signature counts are really fantastic. And here's the thing. If you do what I'm talking about, these types of videos, the videos that I've just sort of recorded here, you're going to have 10, 20, 30, 50 of these, right? How long did it take me? It probably took me 10 minutes. If you have 50 of these types of recordings, you can upload all these to Gemini. It will transcribe it. It will figure out the pages that you're going to. And that's enough to create a GTM engineer job description. It's enough to be able to determine what you are going to agentify. It's enough to determine what it looks like if you have perfectly well-structured information on the web. I'm going to leave you with one more prompt. Now what I want you to do is think like a GTM engineer. Go look at clay.com and N8N, and I want you to and remember that clay.com has an agent tool that you can use. But what I want you to do is create a GTM engineer job description that is going to agentify this whole research process. Assume you've got everything perfectly right. Identify which data sources we should use for which pieces of the information, how we should run this specifically, how all the pieces should play together, and then how I should launch these sort of go-to-market plays. This GTM engineering job description should be ridiculously specific, and it should have the exact playbook that someone will need to use clay.com to be able to turn this into a humming system that is so specific that no stone, no question will be left unanswered. Now create this document for me. Charlie Munger talks about this principle all the time. God rest his soul, that brilliant man. Invert, always invert. And you cannot build a good GTM engineering system from the top down and have any confidence at all that it will work. But you can build it from the bottom up. You can begin with actually closed-won customers, actual research aggregated from 20 to 30 known great logos that have had commercial, talk about intent, actually a transaction has happened. And this is how you find signals. You do not buy them off the shelf. You do not make your eggs, Sam I am. You do not mix them. You do not buy any of these signal-based products. You begin with actual buying signals, which are transaction of cash. You have GPT help you identify what those are. You have it help you with the plan. And then all you're doing is you're taking what is actually occurring in the real market, you're turning that into an agentic process, and then you're shipping that to channels. It's much easier, and you don't have to ask, what should you do? The very first thing you should do is get to know your customers. Understand why they bought, and really get to know the public data. If you are an executive, this is a wake-up call for you. Get your hands dirty, because 20 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days in the muck will help you identify the clay that you need, no pun intended, so that you can direct a team what to do based on actual buying, not signals, but actual transacted dollars from your existing customers. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate these 20 minutes of your life. I know that you could spend them watching Netflix or, I don't know, doing something interesting, but I am so grateful that you are here. I have so much love for the 3 to 8 people that have sent me notes. There's more than that. That watch these things, that study them, that extract the transcripts, that turn these into agents. I would not be here if you were not here, and you are the reason that I can do what I love, and I am very, very grateful. Thanks. Mahalo.